Us today. My name is Susan Jansen, and I have a beautiful guest for you. I want you to meet her and get to know her really well on the short 20 minutes that we have with her today. So prepare to be inspired as we welcome a true champion, I call her, of self-discovery and empowerment. Her name is Guin White. She's here today with us, and I'm so excited about this. She's not just a coach, but she's a guiding light for introverts. And I hope you heard that, introverts out there, on your journey to thrive in a world that often celebrates extroverts. Guin White is a transformational force, and she's dedicated to empowering introverts to not just navigate, but to conquer the challenges that come their way. So, as an expert in the realm of introversion, she poses an unparalleled insight into the unique strengths and untapped potential that introverts possess, and we know that. With We all know so many different people, and those introverts have just special gifts and things that we want to share with you about today. When they're personalized with her personalized coaching and strategic wisdom, Gwen doesn't just guide, though she transforms. So, in a world that sometimes seems to favor the loud and the outgoing, Gwen White is a beacon of authenticity. And through her guidance, introverts learn to embrace their true selves and to cultivate a deep rooted self confidence that just radiates in every aspect of their lives. So, Gwen's passion for helping individuals create their love, to create that life that they love, is palatable. I can't say that word, but it's a good word. And her dedication to this mission is nothing short of remarkable. So, listeners, buckle up as we dive into a conversation today that's bound to be enlightening and empowering and eye opening. Gwen's ready to tap into the power of introversion with us, to embrace our uniqueness, and to learn how not to just survive, but to thrive in a world that often speaks a different language. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm welcome to Gwen White. Gwen, so good to see you.
Ah, thank you so much, Susan. What a beautiful introduction, and what a beautiful day to be here with you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And Gwen and I have known each other for the past few years in our coaching kind of background and endeavors, and in our IA. We're going to talk about that later, endeavors. And so it's just so nice to have her one on one, all to myself. I feel like you're all to myself. So Gwen, tell us first. Yeah, I feel that too. Tell us first, like kind of on your journey here. Tell us a little bit about you and why you're on the journey that you're on today, talking about transformation to
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I think I knew my whole life that I was different. And I was also one of those people who was constantly all about um, like learning about myself. I was kind of obsessed with personal growth from a very early age and also about self-learning. And I think, I was one of those people that anytime there was a personality test, I was like all over it. I took the Myers-Briggs probably when I was 11 and knew like when it was revealed to me that there was, this thing is extroversion and introversion, it was like, oh, that really resonated with me.
Mhm.
And, I've taken Enneagram and Strengths Finders and all of the, pretty much every personality sort of assessment you can imagine. I
Mhm.
was, into it. I have a long background in sales, primarily in hospitality, technology, and then I also have a strong background in entrepreneurship. And so those things sort of are interesting when you come at them from the approach of an introvert. And so even my career path was a little bit different. I recognized that I worked differently than a lot of my counterparts,
Mhm.
particularly in the sales office. And then, I got to a place in my career where I really had come to a place where I was no longer feeling the passion that I
Mhm.
once felt, and really couldn't figure out what was going on. And I finally, after essentially giving up that career because I could no longer really ignite any sense of motivation
Mm,
within myself, I recognized that I had burned out, that I had reached this place of not only kind of that physical burnout, but I was really emotionally, mentally burned out. And it was because for a long time, I was really trying to make myself, into this idea of what I thought I was supposed to be.
mm,
I was, forcing this square peg into the round hole. And for too long, I was trying to do that.
mhm,
Um, and I found that I finally had to pivot. I reached a place
mm,
where I could no longer continue. And I really had to start recognizing what was real and what was authentic about myself.
mhm.
And yeah, at that point, I kind of started that whole path to coaching.
Oh, that's amazing. So then, and now we're in a place, we are very fortunate because now we're in a place that you can guide us. Like I'm kind of, we talked about this before, and I have talked about introverts. Introverts want to be like, they don't want to be extroverts. They don't, I don't think I do. Introverts and extroverts get along. Like,
Absolutely. And in fact, introverts and extroverts, we talk about introverts and extroverts. It's not like there's one type of introvert or one type of extrovert. There's, it's a spectrum. And everyone kind of operates on this spectrum. And oftentimes, those who have very introverted tendencies or those who have very extroverted tendencies may find themselves trying to, you know, change the way they are because the extrovert may be hearing throughout their life, "You're too much, you're too much," where the truest of true introverts may hear, "You're too quiet, you need to speak up more,"
yeah, yeah.
those kinds of things. And so they're essentially made to feel wrong.
Mm,
Um, they're not okay being authentic. It's not safe to be themselves, and therefore they attempt to change, to
mm,
fit in, so that they can belong and get through. And as a result, they're operating against their energetic nature, and
mhm,
they tend to tap out, or they find times, they may have to crash. They find times throughout their lives where it's like they just have to completely unplug,
mm.
or for the extrovert, they have to really plug in. And you know um, depending on who they are, they have felt a complete detachment from their authenticity. And so
Mhm,
that's really, my approach is reconnecting them to
mm,
that true
mhm.
place within themselves and recognizing the power that's there
Yes.
and leaning into, those amazing introverted qualities
Yeah.
that actually can be, really brilliant in
Mhm.
leadership, really brilliant in whatever role
Right. Right.
that they have in life, whether it's parent or spouse or partner
Mhm.
or business owner or salesperson.
Exactly. That
Yeah,
greater understanding is what they need, and that's what you do is you kind of help them see that. Because a lot of times I think that people are on the wrong path, they don't even realize it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think,
So
yeah, so many of us don't realize that we are,
and
yeah,
then we beat ourselves up for not being how we think we're supposed to be, but
right.
we want to embrace that and just, some yeah, that's I was in a course one time and we did that personality test and they passed around this quiz of 37 questions, or no, or no, 34 questions, and everybody in the crowd, came out either introvert or other, basically, and or extrovert. And mine, when I did mine, everyone had like numbers like 24 to 5 and 17 to 9, whatever. When
Mhm.
mine came out, it was 17 and 17. It was
Oh,
like,
wow. So
and
exactly,
I
you're an ambivert.
but the course instructor, I put up my hand, I went, "What does that mean?" And now I'm scared, right? And she said, "Well, it means you're divergent," is the word she used.
Divergent, exactly.
So some of us have to have some of us in our childhoods and the things we went through, you learn to accommodate other people, and that people
Yeah,
pleaser comes in at that point too, right?
absolutely, and I think women in particular, tend to, you know, um, fall into that people-pleasing role. We're encouraged to be pleasing, and unfortunately, we lose connection with a lot of those tougher emotions that actually are beneficial to process.
Right.
And so, yeah, and when you lose touch with the difficult emotions, you also lose touch with the fun ones too,
Mm,
unfortunately. And so, yeah, another big part of what I do as a coach is deep contact, deep connection into the emotional self, and also learning emotional regulation techniques. And so, yeah,
mhm.
yeah,
And I know that you are very knowledgeable about universal design and
yeah.
AI and all these great tools that are out there. So can you share a little bit about that? How do you incorporate that?
Absolutely. So early on, when I was kind of restarting my path into self discovery and really diving more deeply into authenticity, I came across a system called human design.
Mhm.
And the moment I learned about it, I just knew without a shadow of a doubt that I had to learn as much as I possibly could about this system.
Mhm.
And so I set out to do just that. I took my first course and then my second and my third, and I ended up, I think at this point I have four certifications, and I still can't get enough
Ah,
of human design information. I've also learned there's um, another system that's similar and essentially an offshoot of human design called the gene keys. And that's another
mm,
system that I tap heavily in my coaching, particularly with my introverted clients. I find that human design and the gene keys has been instrumental in helping my clients really understand on a very, very deep level exactly who they are. And
wow.
human design is, to me, the most illusory of all of those self-illumination systems.
Mm,
It it goes to such a granular level and to such a deep level, and it's so broad and so deep that I've never seen anything quite like it. And
mm,
it's also not based on an assessment, which makes it very different. I know that over the years, I've taken the Myers Briggs a couple of times and my results changed.
yes, as we
And
grow, as we grow, yeah.
exactly. And I think, that's normal and natural that we do evolve over time. What's nice with human design as a system, your human design never changes. It's just how you express the qualities that you have inherently. Those things change. And so that's how, we understand in the human design system from that perspective who and how you are. Your
Mm,
evolution, of course, becomes more expansive. And that's really the path of self knowledge, is just learning about those amazing qualities that you have, those
mhm.
built in superpowers that are hardwired into you, to really lean into those and just expand on them.
So you're exploring yourself with human design. Or is it different categories that everybody kind of fits into once you how does that work?
Sort of. It's,
Sort of?
you do start out with the sort of broadest, what we call type. And so, yeah, you can kind of look at the human population each of us being a puzzle piece.
Mm.
And there would be roughly 8 billion different puzzle pieces in the beautiful puzzle that is humanity. And when you think about a puzzle, each piece is necessary and each piece is different. And no one piece is better than another piece. But if we also think about puzzle pieces, there are edge pieces, there are center pieces, there are corner pieces. So when we think about human design type, they could be those types of puzzle pieces. So,
Mm.
the edge
Okay.
pieces, the center pieces, the corner pieces. So there are, people that naturally fit into the corner piece. So yeah, there are essentially five overarching human design types. But if you actually look at a human design chart, and if you look at one person's human design chart and another person's human design chart, they may be the same type, which
Yeah.
means, of course, they're going to have certain things in common,
Yeah.
but those charts can and probably will look extremely different unless they're
Mm.
twins. Um, and they're the qualities that are inherently, within them, along with the life that they've led, will essentially make them so, so very unique. And so
Mm.
there's lots and lots that come into, um, you know, the perspective when
Mm.
you're looking at a human design chart. We don't just look at the chart, we also look at the person, their background, their conditioning, their cultural conditioning,
Mhm.
even down to their kind of genetic conditioning.
Oh.
And we bring in a science called epigenetics and recognizing that traumas, can actually imprint on DNA, on your genetics
Yeah.
over at least 14 generations. That's what we now see.
Wow.
So, yeah, I take all of that into
That
consideration.
is amazing. So it's a really clear and in-depth view of
Yeah,
who you are as a person. So, and then we can embrace ourselves. Like that's when we
exactly.
now we know. And now when
Yeah,
someone complains about us, we go, hey, well, that's who I am. That's who I am.
exactly, exactly.
An
Yeah,
awareness. Yeah.
it can be enlightening, yeah, to
Mhm.
actually see, your partner, your spouse's, a coworker's human design chart and recognize like, oh, they're not doing that to annoy me. That's just who they are. That's just how they are. That's how they be.
Aw.
Yeah,
That's exciting. That's something,
it
that
is.
I know a lot of people will be interested in hearing more about that.
Yeah, yeah,
We've got a few more minutes, Gwen, and just tell us about your AI, because I know you and I are both in that same. You're a lot more knowledgeable than me, but when that for AI first came out in October, I was like texting people, going, "Did you see this? Did you see this?" Like it thrilled me in a good way because I love learning. I'm in that same vein as you. So
yeah.
tell us what you're doing with AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you, I saw the benefit immediately. Um, Particularly with someone of my human design, there are some aspects of artificial intelligence that are actually very beneficial as a sort of partner or assistant. And many of us have found that to be the case.
Mhm.
And the conversation, of course, was, blowing up around
Mm.
artificial intelligence at the end of last year, the beginning of this year. And naturally, we in our coaching communities were starting to have the conversation, and a few of us in one particular coaching community that you and I are both a part
Yeah.
of recognize that, hey, maybe we should start a dedicated community just for this. And
Mhm.
so a few of us got together and founded the AI Coach Connection, and now we're really exploring how to leverage AI and AI technologies, applications, tools to, expand our abilities as coaches and as consultants and online entrepreneurs, online business people. So
Mm.
that's really what, I have. That's kind of the path, the journey that I am on,
Mhm.
where AI is concerned and how it can actually help coaches, be better business people, and do it in a way, use AI in a way that's aligned and
Mhm.
ethical and responsible, but
Right.
so beneficial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you've talked about a few very exciting things. So, I mean, if anybody else has any more questions for Gwen or they want to get in touch with her, Gwen, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Absolutely. So the two websites I think are probably easiest. So my coaching website is guinwhite.com. So it's just my name. And then for anybody who's interested in artificial intelligence, then by all means, aicoachconnection.com would be a great place. We've got a free community, and you can just click the join button when you get there and join us if that's something that you would find fun.
And it's a very friendly, welcoming committee and atmosphere. It just
Yeah,
everyone in there, we all are of service. We all want to
yeah,
provide service and be of service and be in that authentic vein. So that's something that's, somebody should check out if you're interested.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure. Gwen,
Yeah,
you're a beautiful guest, and I knew that way long before when I first met you last year. So this is so good to have you here and to share your talents and your warmth and your creative abilities and all the things that you offer up to us in
thank
service.
you.
Just
Thank
so glad to have you here today. And everybody, if you heard those websites, and it'll also be in the show notes how you can get in touch with Gwen. So thank you very much, Gwen, for being with us, and thank you everybody for dropping in. So nice. And I really appreciate any comments, and come see me at Living and Loving each day as well. And so thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.